The adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old.
So you have a 10-year-old and you have a 7-year-old. The real question is do you have a PS5 pre-order?
Okay. Today was the day, Trevor. Today was the day.
The big release.
It was
happen?
the big release, big, reel of games. They didn't give a date for the pre-orders. And then if you were online, everybody released the pre-orders. So
it was a mess, man. Like Twitter was just on fire because Walmart had it in the US and then it showed up in Canada and then Best Buy. There's no coordinated effort. It just seemed like shotgun spray. Okay, it's here. It's not there. Oh, they sold out. Yeah. So, but we're dallying here. Did you get a pre-order?
I did.
Hey, there it is.
I did.
Which fine retailer took your money to give you the next version?
The only one that had them in stock, which was Walmart. Best Buy had gone up, I guess, during the stream, which, note for next time, a good hack is to check the websites while the stream is going. Everyone's distracted. It's like having kids, you just go off and do what you want while they're in front of the TV. So I got 6
browsers open, refreshing constantly, waiting for it to show.
Again, like you said, it was a mess. Everybody just kind of went live at once, and people were jumping on sites like crazy. So Walmart had it. Canadian prices, though. So I went the discless, so the digital version.
That is so surprising. Now, is that why on earth? Because the entire time that we've done this show, you've been a huge proponent of physical media. You want to own it. You want to have it.
Yep.
And this is a very big turnaround for you.
Yeah.
Is it because of price?
100%.
Okay. So I'll stop. I will stop you there. We'll leave that as a bit of a teaser. There's a few other kind of show notes we want to take care of first. Not the least of which is pointing out that I'm right before that big reveal.
Oh, right. Yes.
But before that, we got some listener mail sent to us here. So if you're listening to the show, check the show notes. You'll see a link to Anchor where you can very easily use your phone or whatever microphone you have and leave us a message, a question, a thought that you have, like a comment on anything that we're doing. Would love to hear it. Did you get a pre-order? What's your thought on pricing? We want to hear from you. I got an excellent thought here from friend of the show, Justin Schneider. Big fan of us going back and forth on Twitter. We're always a huge fan of his. So he sent us a really great thought here and wanted to play it for the show. We'll give it a listen.
I think Sony's messaging with the PS5 and what it offers over current gen has been more clear. That and their exclusives has me pretty much sold on switching this gen. That said, I'm not getting rid of the One X or Game Pass, and I actually kind of feel like doing this, I can have the best of both worlds.
It's absolutely so. Justin's just right on point. I think he really did nail it. So as far as a hardware perspective, first party title perspective, Sony compared to Microsoft, I think has been killing it. It really has nailed it as far as this is why the PS5 is compelling. Hardware, specs, and not so much specs, so I'll take that back. Hardware and exclusives are to going. What are your thoughts on that, Jeff?
Yeah, I think the point that Justin is trying to make here is that the exclusives are what is offering that next gen look. Microsoft has been kind of wishy-washy on that, and a lot of the games they've shown are older gen or third-party titles that are going to cross-gen. So if you're going to make the leap, you might as well get some titles that are built for the system and built for or offer those new experiences. So like he's saying, best of both worlds, he can get a new console with great exclusives. I don't think anybody doubts Sony's offerings, and still have Game Pass with a slew and library of all sorts of games to add to your backlog every month. So I think
there's no reason to not have both. And I think from the company perspective, I don't think they would really care. Microsoft would gladly sign you up for the service, and Sony gets your hardware. So it's a nice threading of the needle. And Justin's right on point. Excellent comment. Now the As far as being right on point, though, the you and I had a wager of where the pricing would land.
Right.
Now, you put out a quick Twitter poll there, too. Twitter seemed to fairly, with a decent margin, not huge, side with me that the digital was going to be $4.99.
Yep.
And the regular price, now, this was way off, surprisingly. So you had it as digital was going to be $4.49. I guess to undercut or at least get more towards Xbox's $2.99 base model kind of version, or the cheap version, the small one, and $4.99 for regular. I'd said no, $4.99 for the digital only, so it matches their Xbox Series X.
Yeah,
like this is all these versions are really confusing. So Sony's discless version would be full powered but not have physical media.
Yes,
and it would match the price of Xbox's premier.
Yep, top of the line.
And then you would pay, I had said, like $30 to $50 more for the disc version. Right. And that's where I was off. But I was more close. So I definitely won that.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So all the spirit that back to what you had started to say, you would somehow, Jeff, New Dad Gaming, had been convinced to not get the physical media version of the new PlayStation. So walk us through that.
Right. So again, prices are released. So the official prices is $4.99 US for the disc, $3.99 digital version or discless. Canadian, where we live, Trevor, in Canada, for the disc version, it's $629. So after tax, you're talking well over $700, or at least like $720. And then for the digital version, it's about $500. So I can't, if I'm going to get it, I can't justify $700 worth. I'd rather get the lower version, somehow work out whatever games I want are now digital forever. I have Steam. I'm kind of locked into certain digital versions. Like, I get it, and just spend that extra money on an extra controller or just one game. Because if I didn't buy any games with the disc version, we're like going closer to $1,000 here. So like, it just seems bananas. And I know I'm buying into their marketing. Like, this is exactly probably what Sony wants. I'm in their walled garden. I'll be in their digital store. This is it. And I am a big proponent of physical media. I bought the special edition of Final Fantasy VII Remake recently. Like, that's something I still would like to get for certain games that I really enjoy. Knowing that that's kind of going away, like, I could still buy them, but why? Unless they offer something, right? Like both versions, but
yeah, or like it's some sort of weird amalgamation where the physical version is just a vinyl doll type thing, like a Funko Pop, or like a casing around it and manuals or something. But hey, man, welcome to the digital future. That's great. It just took an astronomical price to get you there.
Yeah,
now, that's kind of my thinking. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Where it feels like it's punishment. It sort of feels like, in my mind, that the inclusion of a optical drive, like, you can buy I don't want to diminish what it takes to build these systems by any means. Mm-hmm. At the same time, you can buy Blu-ray players at the very same Walmart you got your PlayStation from for $40 now.
Yeah.
The technology has really come down. So the thought that you're going to charge like a whole extra $100, almost $150 more just to include the disc, it feels like it's more trying to guide people into saying, no, discless.
Yeah.
You want physical media, you're going to pay through the nose because we don't want this anymore. Yeah. And then around the next version, PS6 or 5S or whatever they decide to do next, is going to be like, well, the discless version greatly outsold the physical media one, so we're no longer doing that anymore. Yeah. It feels like punishment. It feels like it's way too much of a price, like a gouging, honestly, for people who like that physical media.
It completely does, and it's a total marketing financial kind of call for them, because any third party game now, like let's say the new Assassin's Creed, Sony wouldn't necessarily make money on them selling it in a store and physical media. Now you have to house it in their store. They're probably getting a bigger cut. So all those third party games, Sony's probably making a bundle on. And this is not to mention that those first-party games have gone up $10 now. So any next-gen first-party Sony game is now not $79.99 in Canada, $89.99 digitally.
Yeah.
So
like the Canada tax this comes along nicely.
But
It's,
I hear you with the digital version, but a lot of people talk about Game Pass and Netflix and Steam. I just think it just takes something just to change it. And even the design of this thing, it just looks like the disc portion is like an afterthought, like almost like this tumor that sticks out on the side of the thing. Like they didn't think of it. They
so
just
guys, we have to.
We
Come
have
on.
to try. So I don't know. We're working our way there, and this is probably that baby step to get there. So
Yeah, it had me thought. Two things actually kind of drove that thought recently. I'd been researching it's a bit of a tangent, but I've been researching Xbox Game Pass, which we may or may not discuss. But someone had put together a list like, oh, here's the games leaving Game Pass.
Oh,
and I was like, oh,
right.
Yeah, I guess that's right. Like it's going to cycle. And if I'm really honest with how I'm playing games now, I'm not really revisiting anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time to kind of spend 2,000 hours in this one particular game. And in truth, what I do see from the Game Pass is if you have it, there's a discount on buying the Forever version, which is still digital, but so there's venues there, but there's still there's something to be said about that, where there is that constant, call it threat, where the thing that you're enjoying 2 months from now might leave.
Yes.
And if you're really deep in it, that could be gone, which again, if you had the physical disc, and I'll just quickly add on to that, is the great excitement around the re-release of Scott Pilgrim.
Okay, yep.
Beloved platformer that had come out along with the movie, which, by the way, I bought it. I love that game. Adorable, really well crafted game, and it just disappeared. I bought it at one point for an Xbox 360 long ago, but it just went out of circulation. You couldn't get it anymore.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to play it, you're out of luck because it was digital, didn't exist, as opposed to having that here's my good old CD.
Yeah.
I got it. This is the game I could play anytime I want to.
Yeah.
So it speaks to it that you see those cracks in the facade of what this digital future might represent. And what's something that you've jumped headlong into now, having gotten your digital PS5?
Yeah, I did. Well, again, they open with Final Fantasy 16, and I get all excited.
Were you immediately trying to smash a like button or a purchase button as soon as you saw that?
I was like,
saw
oh
that.
God. It was just, and it's by the guys that did Final Fantasy 14. So I'm in that now. That was our last episode where I'm on this MMO. I'm going around. It's got a definite style and story to it. And Final Fantasy 16, turns out it is by those guys. So Yoshi P resurrected Final Fantasy 14. He knows what he's doing. And this is his new baby. And I'm like, oh God, now I want it, and it's console exclusive to PlayStation 5. So I don't know.
Do you think they launched that as a system seller though? It's this will move product.
I don't. No, I don't think so. The end with God of War 2 coming out next year. I don't know if you finished the first one, but
nope. Dad of War. I missed all of it, so I'm hoping to. So I'm just showing a bit of a trailer here for those watching on the video stream. We're just playing a quick trailer from Final Fantasy. It looks like it took a lot of the elements from Final Fantasy VII Remake as far as the fighting. Did you get that sense as well? The battle system?
Kind of. It's like a mix with that and 15, because it looks very action oriented, and it's one, for what I've seen, just one person. So it might actually be like an action RPG, maybe like Devil May Cry-ish. I don't know.
Not even close to, wouldn't you put it more close to the remake? I'd be really surprised if they didn't. This to me, this looks exactly like the remake.
It's like if they had the UI in place, I guess I could see it, because you could still slow down time with the remake and take your time. But again, oh my God, I don't know.
Oof. Now, okay, so that scene. So the scene we just saw
with the blood and everything. Yeah, I see it.
So what we're seeing on screen is that there's one point during this trailer, if you do see it. So Final Fantasy 16 game trailer, if you check it on YouTube, they're in an epic battle scene. a soldier gets slaughtered, and this kid that's featured
Yeah.
seems to have some magical chosen one type of vibes to him.
Yep.
Just gets like splattered with blood.
Yeah.
And as a parent, you're like, oof, like that scene was a bit hard to take, frankly. Like that was a bit close to home for watching. Well, that's not the right way to say it.
No,
More,
yeah, it's more mature.
It hits as a gaming dad.
Yeah.
That type of thing hits you, I think, all of a sudden, because like I have a kid, I would
Yeah.
not like my kid to see this type of thing. Oh goodness.
Yeah, it's well, then he becomes this phoenix that reborn. I don't know. The blood changes him or something. I don't know. He gets vengeance.
Yeah.
But again,
Usual.
it's just you open with this. So again, it's just Sony supporting more games, and I think that's what I'm in it for. And I did show parts of this to my 10-year-old. The Spider-Man comes after this, the Miles Morales, and he was all into that. But then he saw Demon Souls, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to turn it off. He's like, no, wait, I want to see it. And it was fine. But he's like, Dad, I want you to get this, and I want you to play it. I'm like, oh my God.
I want you to get Demon Souls?
Demon Souls. Yeah. And I had the
No
PS3.
way.
I had the PS3 version, never got past the first boss. That's when I first had my firstborn. So you couldn't pause in this game, and I think we've talked about that before. I'm like, I can't do Demon Souls. What are you talking about? There's no way. Like,
I don't got dad time to possibly do Demon Souls. Are you kidding me?
No.
Can't believe he's like, Dad, I want you to. That's.
But now, how do you disappoint your son? Right? He's saying, "Go, Dad, go." He's cheerleading you. He's like, "Go, you can do it." I'm like, well, maybe I can. Yeah.
Was it gonna be the same thing as like, Dad, why don't you hit a home run? And it's like, well, because your dad's bad at sports. Son. I don't know what to tell you. It's like,
Doesn't stop you from trying. You got to do it.
I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good luck with that. That one was fine. So what else? What caught your eye? I unfortunately did not catch it. So obviously Final Fantasy.
Yep.
I saw one clip from the Miles Morales Spider-Man. Looked stunning. That looks so cool.
Yeah.
But those are the only things I kind of caught. So what else is of note to you as a gaming dad seeing this live stream?
Really not much else, to be honest.
Wow.
The game,
God of War.
God of War for sure, but that's next year. So
Okay.
if we're talking next year, like that, Horizon Zero Dawn, like all those ones are going to be great. Ratchet and Clank, they didn't show that in this. I'm really pumped for that. So I'm wondering where that is. Launch window, who knows where that is? But that's one I would love to see. And then they offered as part of PS Plus a whole slew of games for free available on launch for PS5 for free as part of Plus. So it's like their Game Pass, but like crazy titles like Uncharted 4 and Last of Us and Battlefield.
Like, is it a one-time gift or
Nope,
just
every
anytime
single
you
game.
get?
Like they have a curated like 15 blockbuster games, and they're like, as part of PS Plus, this is now yours for your PS5 launch day. You just download and go.
Oh my goodness.
They had a lot in there. But again, that's past gen. Like that's current gen. So maybe it's just kind of like to, bridge that gap until these games start flying out. So.
Oh, that's very cynical, but it's probably true.
Yeah, totally.
Like I hate to say it, where it's just like you're not really gonna have enough to satiate people. So here's the greatest hits of our previous gen. Did they mention, would any of them get upgrades, graphical quality?
They didn't say anything about upgrades, but if the blog was anything to go by, they say they'll have enhancements or that it runs. So I don't know if enhancements just means load times, which would be great.
Alone would be fantastic.
That would be like perfect for dad time. Witcher 3, I'll just get back into that and not have to load everything. But I don't think that they're going back and like remastering these things. Yeah, so it's just a stopgap, I think.
That's fine. If nothing else besides load times and runtime, in that like it maybe ups the frame rate because it's less chugging along.
Yeah.
Just fine. Because again, like I have a hard time looking at Uncharted and thinking, man, I really hope this gets remastered.
True.
Where else does it go besides like again load times and just not ever chugging? Like there's nothing else you could do there. Just make sure it runs well.
Yeah, and at this point, I just want the fan noise to be gone. To be honest, the PS4 is so loud now, and if I can run these games quietly and not wake my kids, it would be great. It'd be fantastic.
Just the jet engine. Now, was there any announcements around VR? I heard some scuttlebutt that really wasn't even kind of mentioned at all.
It was not mentioned at all before, like coming up to this, because last week was the VR week, so they were showing a bunch of games. Did not mention how that fits into PS5 beyond that the camera will need an adapter, which is free. They will offer that free unless you buy the new camera, which they didn't really go into why you would need it. Right?
I mean, if it's better, like that'd be great. Or if it just works with the system.
Yeah.
So that could be a slight upgrade. I would have to imagine at very least it would get PS4 Pro power.
I would hope so.
Because it's much, much more powerful than, the PS4 Pro. So like at very least there's that minor upgrade. But I suppose what's reassuring about that is that don't worry, there will be VR and it will work. You need this camera adapter.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, good. So it's not dead yet.
Right.
Seems to still be working.
Yeah, I don't think it's totally like they probably wanted to show that there's some commitment coming. They're just not ready. And it really, I don't know, because the PS5 has a whole audio tech built into it, like a separate chipset. So maybe that breakout block for VR goes away and there's some other way to hook it up. That would be great. But we'll wait to see what Sony has yet to reveal on PSVR 2.
Yeah, right. It was interesting because there was the Quest 2 announcement.
There was, yes. Which a lot of people are, it's a great entry point. I think at $299 US for this amazing VR system, but it's the Facebook login that's required that is really killing it for people.
That feels a bit overblown to me. I get it that you don't want Facebook's all intrusive hands like on every piece of you and your media.
Mm-hmm.
But I still find I use the Facebook login for many sites just because it's faster. It's like I could enter in my email and all my information or just click the Facebook button. Fine. Like this is just a meal subscription site. Use it, get my info. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I do wonder, it's like, are you worried that Facebook's going to broadcast what you're looking at and what you're looking at you shouldn't be looking at? Like, what have you been seeing, or what do you feel around like their the resistance towards that? I saw that and it felt a bit overblown.
I think it's because just their past history with privacy issues. So I know that everybody, has a company like Steam takes all your data and does whatever with it. I think Facebook is less trustworthy that way, but there was a statement that happened this week because this was coming up, was if you create a dummy Facebook account, they'll lock you out.
Oh, jeez.
So for them to control the ability for me to get into my hardware that I bought, I mean, Sony could do that too, right? They could lock out all my digital games if I did something online that they didn't like. So I guess it's, again, going back to that digital world and kind of like a Ready Player One sort of movie book where you're kind of tied to a company that's providing this experience at a lower cost than if you went out and developed and did it yourself. This is how it is.
Yeah. Okay, so that part of it, okay, now I get it. If it was more around the, I'm scared about connecting it with my account, or like I don't want people to know what I'm doing, or like a big, huge, deep privacy concern.
Okay, yeah.
That one, that I can get it. Don't exactly entirely subscribe to it. The getting locked out of your account because you refuse to play ball, or not being able to buy, or not be able to use the hardware you purchased because of their arbitrary sign-in rules. Okay, now that's a bit dirtier. I understand that one. But what I really liked about what really actually, I don't want to say sold me on it, but what became very interesting to me was the this kind of like workspace, this digital workspace they had for it. Yeah. So the one demo, I was trying to find the demo of it. I have to do a different search here. So excuse me while I Google for something.
Yeah, it's great tech. Like they have really, I don't know, pushed the bar on this and what they can offer at such a low entry point. Again, I just think it undercuts a lot of what's already out there in terms of VR, even PlayStation included, really. Like this resolution is I don't know if it's double or quadruple what the PSVR can do, but it is crystal clear. And I think it's wireless, is it not? Pretty sure it is.
Yeah, it's wireless. There's no computer involved.
Yeah.
Like that's the other thing that makes it like makes it really fascinating to me is that there's no PC, there's no wires. You can just be sitting in any old room and it just like straps on.
Yeah.
And you're immediately in that view. And more than just the games of it, which I'm really trying hard to find the I know Engadget had a story, so for the Gadget.
It's a neat idea though, right? Like you were saying, you could just sit down, pop this thing on, no need to start up a PC, start up your PlayStation, whatever else going on, and you just get into a game or a workspace and go about your business.
I'm telling you, the workspace is great because the particular demo of it has it looks like it has its own browser. That worried me a little bit because like how good is that browser going to be as opposed to Chrome? I don't think it's connected to Windows, like an actual like Windows or Mac. So it's not like you're going to be able to run your applications to do your job.
Right.
However, there still just seems to be if a lot of the apps that I've been using recently are all browser based. You use something like Figma for design. You use WordPress or Squarespace to build a website. Like you could, in some senses, really do most of your work without a computer, and then use this thing to just have a complete digital, massive 30 screen work environment.
Yeah.
While the background's the beach.
It's funny though, because it's like, again, during a pandemic when everyone's kind of working remotely, to have like a virtual space is kind of an interesting idea during this time.
Okay, so for the purpose of the audio only people here, we're watching what Oculus Quest 2 calls the Infinite Office. So the lady has a browser open. It's showing a AR view.
Yeah.
She's getting real-time chats inside of it. Because of the AR view, she can see that her kid or roommate is making dinner, so like she can't work at that desk. Picks up the device, goes to a space. It recognizes the desk, and now she's in her email. Like again, that's all in the browser. So Gmail or Outlook, whatever you're doing, working with the team. As I understand, they're actually building a special. That's a special keyboard she's using there from Logitech, built specifically for the Quest 2.
Oh.
Includes a trackpad, so it's a bit more seamless.
Oh, it does. I can see it there. Yeah, on the right side, it's all trackpad. Okay.
Yeah, and in this instance, she's building a website in the cloud. She has... Actually, sorry, I'm real curious about what app is she using to build that site. Oh, it's mydigitaldesigntool.com. I don't think that's a thing.
Quick, buy the site now. Take it away.
But as interesting, she has like six screens open that she's opened, 4 different browsers. One's email, one's a design tool, something like Figma. Then she has her keyboard in hand, but then she's changed the whole background scape to like this serene beach scene.
Yeah.
So instead of being kind of locked into her office, she's there. If that actually ships and works a quarter as good as it's shown, like that becomes really interesting to me.
Again, back to our previous argument with digital stuff, right? Going away from physical media, I think like VR is just that next step, right? Your whole game library and experience would exist within the VR world.
Yeah. Now so we're watching currently. So back to PS5 to kind of wrap things up here. We're watching some clips from Bug Snacks.
Yes.
People seem super excited about. Besides that obvious one, particularly on the dad front, was there anything that really caught your eye in this or the other Xbox's announcements? Anything that dads themselves would actually really look forward to in this next gen?
I don't think anything that is super going to blow me away. My kids are really excited for Astrobot that comes pre-installed. So you get that on PS5. And they really like Sackboy. So they played a lot of Little Big Planet back in the day. And Sackboy has his own game. Again, for the price though, it's just it's a lot. But those are dad games to me because I can play with my kids and they don't mind playing with me in those worlds. So that's fun. That's what stood out. But like nothing like super crazy like jump next gen. Ratchet and Clank is probably the only other one that I'm interested, but I don't know when that's coming out now. I thought it was holiday, but maybe not.
Yeah, I didn't hear much about quality of life stuff from a parenting perspective either. It might, which might be the case. That's not the type of thing you do a live stream of. But if they have, I'd be curious to see the next gen of parental controls,
Yes.
Time limiting. Like I think there's some of that exists for the PS4. Do they continue it and kind of take that to any next level for the PS5? Is there anything else that they can do to help out a home life for people who have gaming, who subscribe to this like system in the next gen?
Yeah, that would be great to know, because again, if I'm going digital, I want my purchases to going to be shared and them not to be able to purchase. And I've tweeted Sony saying, don't make a beep when you turn it on, because it wakes up my kids and they come running to see what I'm doing. So just even don't have a hardware beep. Just let it go in. Silence.
Please mute the beep.
Mute the beep.
My kids have become so sensitive to the beep.
Yep.
I can't afford it. Please.
Yeah. Please don't.
I'll be curious to see if they continue on with the remote play, because having just discovered that recently with my iPhone and connecting my PlayStation controller to it, pretty upset that I didn't know about that earlier.
Right.
So I'd be kind of, I don't know if they're going to take, if that gets extended any further, especially with this new focus on streaming from Xbox is offering with their Game Pass. I wonder if they'll feel pressure to start to further build out that infrastructure so you can be even wider. But obviously that's not something I saw any announcements for just yet. But we have until, when do you get your device? November?
Yes.
Until November to
November
find out?
12th is when it's supposed to be here. Who knows what shipping will do, but November 12th is the day.
Oh, hold on. So November, so per your pre-order, theoretically, it arrives at your doorstep.
Theoretically.
November 12th.
Yes.
Okay. Unless we can hold some of those new dad strings.
That's right.
And get your device delivered earlier for a review.
Who knows?
We'll see.
Walmart, you're listening? I plug them. Come on. Multi-billion.
Hey, the new dad audience is lucrative. What can I tell you?
That's right.
And with that plug, we will call it for the episode. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Again, big shout out and thank you to Justin Snyder for the message this week. If you would like to leave us a message, do you have a pre-order for PS5? Do you have any thoughts on the next gen system and thinking one or the other? Do you have any concerns about the push to digital versus physical media? Anything else of the above? Would love to hear your thoughts. If you look at the show notes from this particular episode or any of the other ones, there'll be a link where you can very easily leave us a message. We'd love to hear from you and get you featured on the show. If you'd like to reach out to us otherwise, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at New Dad Gaming. You can find the podcast itself on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and anywhere else you can find podcasts. Thank you so much for being with us here this week. And until next week, my name is Trevor, and I have no pre-orders. I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have one pre-order, a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old that I'm...
One so far.
One pre-order.
Maybe they're going to drop like a... I'll tell you what happens.
No.
So next week, Final Fantasy VII Remake, the second edition. If you pre-order a second PlayStation, you get it like 6 months earlier than anybody else.
No, you know what it is? And sorry to go off tangent. It's the Mass Effect trilogy that is rumored to be on the Switch.
Ooh,
that one would get me to do something. So
buy a new Switch?
No, because now Switch has a new system in the works. So I don't know, man.
That's why.
There's too much money.
Next week.
Again, Walmart.
Yeah,
give me a ring.
Some more work.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. All right, everybody. Hope to hear from you. Stay safe out there. See you next week.